here is Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, we really saw that dust storm roll through last night, and it stuck around early this morning, and sometime around lunch or so it tried to die down. Now, we saw those winds pushing out of the north. Steve and I were messing around with an anemometer, feeling some of those cold gusts making their way in from the north, and that's going to push us all the way down near those freezing levels. And some areas will get below freezing, so people, pets, plants, and pipes, because it's on its way. Now, temperatures over the last 24 hours down 30 degrees from those lower 90s, then all the way down into those mid 50s, and we only warmed up about 13 degrees into those mid 60s, and we're holding on to a little bit of heat. But by tonight, dropping 30 more degrees, if not more, all the way down into those upper 20s, if not lower 30s. 66 in San Angelo. Everybody else in a combination of lower 70s, if not mid to lower 60s across the entire Concho Valley. 63 in Sterling City. You can see where the cold air is trying to slide its way in. 70 down there in Junction. You can see where we're trying to hold on to. It looks like 8 degrees across the entire Concho Valley, but it's not going to be sticking around for too much longer. Now, dew points are still relatively dry. Some of them earlier today in the negatives. Take a good look down there at Sonora. It's at 1 degree dew point. Humidity down there in the single digits. Of course, they're higher up towards the northeast, but yesterday dew points were way up there in those 20s. You can see how much this dry air is quickly making its way through because faster systems are starting to make their way across the northern part of the nation. They're really starting to hover around sort of Wisconsin in that area, and that's where it's pulling all that humidity up towards the north. Now, you sort of see that stove piping that we saw last year. It's definitely trying, but it's more off towards the east because of the strong high pressure that's building in. Now, as we make our way closer towards the weekend, it looks like the wind is finally giving up. But take a good look off the west coast. As we get closer towards next week, this ridging starting to look a whole lot like a heat dome. That's right, high pressure definitely building in with some of those warmer temperatures. 80 degrees on the way. Now, you heard that firefighter talking earlier about hoping for some rain. Doesn't look like any is on its way anytime soon. Now, water vapor imagery is showing you the circulation about to set up around Wisconsin. Off the west coast, here comes the next one, and it's going to go into the exact same area. Off the west coast, that circulation moving off the east. Now, that's one system, another one, and a third one. You get the good idea of the trajectory of each of these systems while it still is well clear of the Concho Valley. Now, severe weather outlook looking pretty intense around Wisconsin, if not parts of Illinois into Indiana off the west coast, keeping our eye on the next wave of moisture into the surface where we were watching a monster storm set up. That's where we're seeing some of these strong winds we're going to push out of the north. Now, earlier in the week, we definitely saw a lot of snow making its round away the Rocky Mountains, but that cold wind pushing in from the north. You saw those dust storms off the west. Here comes the next round of moisture. Futurecast is going to show you where we're going to see absolutely no moisture as a result, even with the next winter storm making its way across this late in March. Now, it sets up around Wisconsin, and you just see pleasant temperatures as a result, but unfortunately, dry weather as well. So tonight, all the way down near those freezing levels, so let's be ready for it. Then tomorrow, a beautiful first day of spring, and we hold on to the winds, and it's going to try to get up into those 70s, but it's going to be a beautiful day. By the time Friday rolls around, looking like a breezy one, but definitely not as intense as we make our way back up into those 80s. By the weekend, all the way back up into those 90s, but we're going to level out there while we hold out in those 80s, while those overnight lows push up from those freezing levels and hover around those 60s. Stay tuned. I'm going to break. You're watching KSAN News.